Hello, everyone. As I said earlier, my name is Michelle Schaefer. I'm a senior consultant in Ambit Energy. I want to thank. Okay, little technical difficulty. As I said, my name is Michelle Schaefer. I'm a senior consultant in Ambit Energy. I want to thank you all so much for sharing your Sunday evening with us. This is a great call to prepare your upcoming Ambit week. We believe that the silver bullet for this business is to have structure in your week where you spend 30 to 45 minutes a day doing the simple things you need to do. So have your top 10 names ready, your calendars open, a pen and a paper in handy so you can prepare your week right along with us. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce your host for this evening. If you're not familiar with this gentleman, he is a dear friend of mine. He's an executive consultant in our business. He is a five-star trip earner, which means basically he earned his way to a trip that only 20 out of 350,000 consultants in this business earn. He has several Dickey's barbecue restaurants. He is also, a businessman in his own right, as well as being very successful in Ambit. He is a musician. He has a music box company. He has several businesses that he also runs outside this business. He is a dear friend of mine and my mentor. I'd like to please welcome Mr. Richard Laidler.
Hello there, my lovely. Can you hear me okay?
How are you?
Very well indeed. Sometimes this headset that I use is a little muffled. Is it clear at the moment?
No, you're fine.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So you had some interesting technical difficulties over there, and I promised it wasn't me. I've got the board open here as well. I promised I wasn't messing with you, or as tempting as it is. Anyway, guys, welcome to the Sunday Purge Call. It's 8 a.m. here in Dallas. For those of you in the east, the northeast up there, obviously it's 9 o'clock for you chaps, and for those of you who are in California, it's still probably light over there at 6 p.m. Welcome to the call. Thank you very much for getting on, and congratulate yourselves for taking an hour out to prepare for your week. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're taking out the time to prepare for the week. Let me tell you, this is the best investment of time you can make in your Ambit business. If you prepare your week, then you're on for a good week. And if you don't, you're probably not. What is it? The expression is it failing to plan is planning to fail? I don't like platitudes, but that's a real strong one. That's one we very much live by on this particular call. Well, this week is Thanksgiving week. So being British, I'm not really sure what that holiday is, other than I get to eat lots of food on Thursday and share some way too many desserts with my good friends. In fact, I'm going to be having Thanksgiving with executive consultant David Belmar and his wife this week, so I'm very excited. A couple of foreigners get together just to join in the celebrations with you Americans. And so we're very much looking forward to that. And I'm going to talk a little bit towards the end of the call about how to best run your Ambit week during a holiday week, because there is a couple of considerations. I don't believe in making excuses, like saying, oh, I can't recruit anyone in July, everyone's on vacation. I can't recruit anyone around Christmas because it's Christmas time. I can't recruit anyone around Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving time. I do not believe in that. I joined right in the middle of December, right at Christmas time, and the person who brought me in is making 4 figures a month from my business. So I would suggest that you get rid of that preconceived mindset, and it is a mindset. Sure, there'll be less people maybe you can reach, but it doesn't mean to say you have to have any less people who you can bring into your business. So, but we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But the purpose of this call is to make sure every week that you start your week with knowing what you're going to do for your Ambit business. Way too many people start their Ambit week with I really need to do something this week with my business, and there's this constant nagging feeling in your stomach saying, I've got to get something done, And the way to really deal with that is just to have a plan. And that the Purge Call is all about a plan, which I'll go through in just a second. But it's basically just doing the basic things that we need to do every week, making a couple of calls, but actually putting the time for those calls into your calendar and actually assigning the time for it. Because if you don't, you probably won't do it. It's very much the same thing as your job. You go to your job because you have to. because you've got to be at work at 8 o'clock, you've got to be at work at 9 o'clock or whenever it is, and you've got to leave at this particular time. And while you're at work, you do the simple things you need to do. No one's being rock stars. They're just doing what they need to do, and they're successful. And it's exactly the same in Ambit. There's this misconception that you want to find the rock stars in your business. If you do, great. But about 3% of people in Ambit are truly rock stars. The rest of us, are regular folks. I would say I'm just a regular Ambit guy, but I do what I need to do every day. And if you do that, you'll find 3 folks who are just like you, and teach them to do the same thing. They'll find 3 folks who are just like you, and they'll find 3 folks who are just like you, just because we put a little bit of time aside in our calendar every week to make a couple of calls as we're supposed to do that. And the thing is as well, once those people join our business, get them a couple of customers in Texas, 3 customers in New York to get them qualified. And we're talking about once you get down to 7 levels of 3, getting 3. Again, no rock stars needed. Just people just doing what they need to do. Once you get down to 7 levels, it's over $11,000 in residual income if you're just gathering a couple of customers to get yourself qualified. And that's what we believe in this business. I see a lot of training, and I do believe in obviously a lot of the training that's out there, but I don't care. Like, for example, the why training. People are saying, well, my business isn't growing, so get in touch with my why. Well, I agree with that to a degree, but I'll tell you, I know some people with some great whys in this business who quit. I know some people with some whys that are kind of okay. I wanted to make a couple extra $100 a month, whatever, who are now killing the business. Sure, I do believe that a strong why is good, but does anybody ask you what your why is in your job? Does anybody ask you what your why is when you're at school? A good job may do, and a good school may do, but I'm telling you, it'll be 1% of schools and 1% of jobs who ask you your why. No, you're not successful because you know why you're at work other than your salary. You're successful at work because you turn up, because you show up, and you get done the basic things that you need to do. And because of that, the company is then successful because the staff that they have are doing what they need to do, and that's what we do on this call. So just to kind of summarize real quick what we do, basically the Purge call revolves around the written list. There are a number of different ways you can bring people into your business. When you hear someone who's just lost a job or complaining about the number of hours they have and this type of thing, that's one way, and that's what we call a reactive invite. Every now and again, you'll bump into someone who's really good, the waitress, the bank teller, the person in the Starbucks line or whatever, and you'd ask them directly to join. That's a direct invite. But the majority of our business and the real backbone to our business is working around our written list, and that's the people we want to show the business to. Not the people we want to join the business, the people we want to show the business to. And so what we do is, please, everybody on this call, make sure you've constantly got a written list, and you're constantly adding to that written list. And if you're struggling how to do that, then get with your crossline or upline or whatever, or get yourself a memory jogger. There's one in the back office in your power zone. You could even use your yellow pages if those things still are in your house. Just to go through and look, accountants or carpenters or whatever, and it'll start you thinking about, oh yeah, I know such and such. Who was your best friend at school? Who was the best man at your wedding? Who was maid of honor at your wedding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's lots of ways to build your list, but please, that is the fundamental of your business. And I know that does sound, when someone was talking to me about building a written list, I thought, oh my God, have I got to cold call my written list? No. We're not doing that. It is just basically writing a written list of people we want to show the business to. We're not going to go cold calling them. Don't sit there thinking, if you're brand new, oh my gosh, I've got to cold call all my friends and family. It's not like that. We don't build it that way. But it is the inventory for your business. Like the food is the inventory for my restaurant. If I don't have any ribs, I don't have any turkey, I don't have any chicken or whatever, I'm not selling any food. And so make sure you have your written list. Get that written list scored or sorted using the ERICA system. If you're not sure what the ERICA system is, it's an acronym which is basically ERICA, which is entrepreneurial, R is resourceful, I is influence, C is city, are they local or not, and A is attitude. If you're not sure what that is, There is a training call on that on the EC Riders Facebook page. Just scroll down and you'll find that. I'm actually going to have that in a place which is going to be easier to find. But for right now, go to the EC Riders Facebook page, listen to that call. I do explain how the Erica system works, and what that does is it basically sorts your list out. It brings all the good people that could be good in your business. It brings the cream to the top of the milk, as it were. So it's great for doing that. And then what we do on Sunday, which we're actually going to do on this call, but you'll need to do independent of this as well, is to basically pull the top 10 names from that sorted list. You've got, say, 100, 200 people on your list. Because you've sorted them, there'll be 10 that get to the top. They tend to be the 10 best people as well. We get those 10 names down, and we work on the perfect invites, and we're going to talk about that on this call, how best to invite someone to look at the business. I do not believe there is one invite fits all. I think an 18-year-old straight out of school is going to be invited differently than your mum's best friend, and lots of areas in the middle as well. A business person is different than a blue-collar worker, is different than a doctor, is different than a nurse, is different, blah, blah, blah. And we cover that all on the call. Once we've got our 10 names, then we are going to make 2 invites a day, 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, et cetera, through the week all the way through to Friday. And we're going to do an accountability call. And the accountability call is someone cross-line, up-line, or whatever from you who's going to basically be your accountability partner. They don't have to be an expert. If your accountability partner is someone that's just come in the business like you, it doesn't matter that they are not necessarily an expert in the business. It's just that there's someone there who's waiting for you to call to let you know how the 2 invites went. Because the most important thing is that we make the invites. You'll get better at doing invites. The more you listen to these calls, the more we do trainings, the better you'll become at inviting. But at the end of the day, if all you do is say to 2 people, hey, dude, can you do me a favor, take a look at this video and let me know what you think? That's not how we train. But even if you did it as badly as that, you would find 3 people who are looking for something, who will look at this business and join your business. But the point is, you'll only make those 2 invites in many cases if you know someone at the end of the day is waiting for you to call them to tell them how that call went. So you're doing 3 calls a day, 2 invites and 1 accountability call all the way Monday through Friday. And what that'll do is it'll make sure that 10 people are getting invited to your business. In addition, there are going to be some reactive invites, where you bump into someone at work who says, I hate my job, and you say, hey, well, I've got something you may want to take a look at, maybe your cup of tea or not. Or there's going to be that direct invite to the waitress, the bank teller, or whatever. And so you've got 3 real ways to invite people into your business. But again, the core is the 10 names that have come from your written list. So that's basically what this is all about. And again, it's just very, very simple structure. I guarantee it's simpler than your job. But the most important thing is that we do it, because most people who quit Ambit actually don't quit Ambit. They just don't do it and slowly acquiesce away from it. And then when they realize a month, 2 months down the line, and someone says, oh, how's that Ambit business going? They'll say things like, it wasn't for me, I couldn't find time. And they'll come out with excuses when the reality is you just didn't do it. And so if you put and just like if you didn't turn up for your job, you wouldn't be in that for very long as well. So it's exactly the same. The purpose of this is just to make sure you do the simple things we need to do every day. It adds up to about 30 to 60 minutes a day. 30 to 60 minutes a day as a part-time. And yeah, I'm going to say job. It's a job for a while. Until you're financially free, it's going to be a job, and your accountability partner is your boss to make sure it gets done. So that's the principle behind the Purge call. What we also do is on this Purge call is I actually work with a live victim, and we call it victim, obviously, for just a little bit of fun. It's very much a willing victim. It's a real consultant who's really out there building their business. Most of the time, they're not in my team. Occasionally, they'll be in my team. But that's very much also the principle behind this call. Is it is not team-specific. It is open to anyone and everyone in Ambit. And I truly believe with all of my heart that of all of the handful of silver bullets that help you in your business, I truly believe that this is the silver bullet for finding you success in your business. Just as you have success in your job, just as you had success in graduating high school, it's just because you showed up every day to do what you needed to do, and that's exactly the same with this. So I'm going to bring our victim on for this week, and this is her second week. So last Sunday, we pulled down her top 10 names. We put some invites together. And during the week, we've been making some invites. We've been doing some coaching. They're all recorded and on the EC Riders Facebook page, as Michelle was talking about. Go back, scroll through, and have a listen. I've put them in such a format such that you can listen to them on the way into work or on the way back. You just plug your phone in and have a listen, and I'll be your company into work and your company back if you're not too sick and tired of listening to these English dulcet tones. But there's some good training. I mean, there's some really good stuff in there, not because of any training skills that I have, but because every circumstance is a real one. The problem we had here, the good thing that happened there, good, bad, indifferent, everything's on that call. We do not edit the calls. Whether things went right or whether they went wrong, we deal with it on the call. So with that being said, I'm going to bring my victim onto the call, and we're going to go through and we're going to basically purge her list. We've had her 10 names, we've done the invites, and we're now going to purge it, hence why this is called the Purge Call, because we want to make sure that next week she has a clean plate of new names to talk to. So first of all, let me bring onto the call Regional Consultant Janet James. Are you there, Janet? Janet, are you there? Did you call in on, I heard you come in on the call. I'm not sure which code you used. You may have used the participant code. Could you push *6, Janet? And that will help you come in the call. Are you there? Michelle, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not getting any response here. Hopefully I haven't been talking to no one for a little while. Can someone text me to let me know
Richard,
that I can
I'm here. Yeah. Sorry, I was on mute, and I see
okay,
her.
No problem.
She's right here. She's right here. Hang on.
Richard?
Okay.
Richard, can you hear me?
There you are. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, great. Now I'm getting a whole bunch of texts saying they can hear me. Thanks, guys. Great. I haven't been talking to myself for the last 10 minutes. Oh, my gosh. It's so interesting. Sometimes I'm doing this call and I'm chattering away and I have no idea either if anybody can hear me or if anybody's even liking the call. So anyway, all right, well, let's go back. Let's kind of go back 30 seconds and reintroduce my willing victim for the week, Regional Consultant Janet James. Are you on the call, lovely?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. I love it when a plan works out. Oh, I see. Well, great. Well, I know you've been with great. Thanks, guys. That's good. That's good. My phone's going ding, 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 ding. Everyone's saying they can hear me. It's lovely. It's nice to know you're all out there. How lovely. Well, I know you've had a nice day with family today, probably eaten too much. I don't know. But thank you for getting on the call today. And I appreciate all the hard work that we did this week. And I want to kind of dive straight into it because I want to have a little bit of time at the end of the call to talk about, how to deal with Ambit business during a Thanksgiving week. So if you don't mind, I'd love to basically just talk about the people that we invited this week, and then I'd be very much interested to hear, your thoughts and feelings about how this purge call has either helped you or not. Either way, I'm a big boy with big shoulders to take it on the chin if it's not right. But first of all, let's dive in and let's have a look at the people that we talked about. And if you wouldn't mind, let's kind of just go through the week, go through your list and kind of tell us the person you're talking about, the type of approach you used and what happened. And I will interrupt you if there's any coaching opportunities, but if you could just kind of let us know about your week so that we can plug them in if they're a yes, get rid of them and onto a drip list if they're a no, and validating the maybes.
Okay. On Monday, I called Darren Aulick, which is a friend of ours. My husband was the ministry leader of our singles church at our church 10 years ago, and he was just a single, sweet, kind of positive guy. So I called him and just invited him to take a look, and he just basically said, "I'm not a salesman," and he didn't want to. You could tell he was kind of timid. He kind of didn't kind of know what I was talking about, and so he said no. But anyway, I told him I would put him on my drip list and just get back with him and touch base and just tell him how we were doing in 6 months, and he said okay.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Uh-huh.
So you invited him to take a look and got an opportunity to show the plan. So as far as the purge call is concerned, that's 100%. That's 100% success. That's great. So great job on that. But my next question is, he had an objection about not being a salesman, which is one of the top, probably the top 5 objections. And I'd be interested to know how you dealt with that. And I'm going to ask you to be vulnerable here. No one's going to judge in any way. But were you able to get someone on a 3-way call to help you with that?
No, because I didn't really know. I didn't really think about that. I didn't really think about that, and because I had messaged him, I had tried to get his number to reconnect because he had changed his number, so I didn't really think about that to do the 3-way call to validate him.
Okay, so let's just talk about that real quick. First of all, thank you very much for being honest on that one. In all honesty, the 3-way call needs to be a knee-jerk reaction. It needs to be something that you do 90 to 100% of the time. And if you're struggling on how to segue into a 3-way call or how to do it, then there's some great training out there. I know that Richard Amuedo has some training on his Ambit DNA site, which is a Facebook page. I think it's on the Ambit DNA. There's a call on there how to do a 3-way call. But yeah, absolutely. This was a situation where a 3-way call would have been perfect. And so if I had been in your position and talking to Darren and we showed him the business, I understand he felt awkward. I understand that he may have been making, excuses for not wanting to do it, and that's fine. But we do want to get ourselves onto a 3-way call where that can be addressed for 2 reasons. Number 1, to hopefully address his concern. But number 2, and more importantly than anything else, is so that you can listen to how an SC or an EC dealt with that concern. If it was me, I would have said, if he had some worries about being a salesperson and I was doing the 3-way call, I would say, well, that's great. Let me tell you, in this business, we really kind of discourage people being a salesperson. At the end of the day, we're offering people electricity at less. We're offering savings on an electricity bill, so we actually don't want you to sell. And I would have gone into that on a 3-way call. We don't need to go into dealing with how to deal with the concern. All I'm saying to you, Janet, in that particular case, you should have had a 3-way call lined up, and someone would have dealt with that. And again, either he would have found another excuse because he didn't want to do it, and that's fine. Again, we're only looking to show the plan. He'll either do it or he won't. But again, more than that is for you to be able to hear the person doing the 3-way call, hear how they overcome that concern, because some people actually would like to do the business, and that is a genuine concern. Very often with something like that is isolating. Is that your only concern? If there was no selling involved with this, is this something you'd like to do? Oh yes, I'd love to do this business, but I'm just not a salesperson. You see, and then it's really worthwhile overcoming that concern. So in future, try to have a 3-way call lined up for just that particular circumstance. And if you're not sure how to line one up, then there are trainings out there to be able to learn how to do that. But thank you for being vulnerable on that. But again, all of those who are listening in on the call, a 3-way call would have solved that problem. Either, it would have brought him into the business or not, but that's not the point. We wanted to make sure that the concern, and I don't like to use the word objection, I like to use the word concern, would have been addressed. Does that make sense, Janet?
Yes, it does, and that's
cool.
A learning curve right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that is the purpose. No one knows everything when they're in this business. And the purpose of these calls is to, again, good, bad, and ugly, we address them and help. It's not about trying to catch you out and saying you're right or wrong. But in our business, the 3-way call is part of the system, and it's critical. I'll be vulnerable. I wasn't doing 3-way calls when I first got started either. I thought I knew the answers, and I would overcome the objection because I'd been told to do that and taught to do that as a salesman before I joined the business. Mary Amuedo took me into a corner office one time and ripped me a new one. She said, "Richard, why isn't your business growing?" And I explained what was going on in my business, but she isolated the fact I wasn't doing 3-way calls. and she immediately corrected me on that. I took some great coaching. I had to be humble, and started including three-way calls in my business, and it started to grow and it started to duplicate. So that's something that you'll need to, bring into your business and learn how to do. You won't be expert at it first time round, but it soon becomes very comfortable. Okay. So we're right to purge that. He's had a look at the business. Let's purge him for 6 months, and we'll give him a call back again, second quarter of next year.
Right.
All right. So
right.
off you go again.
Okay. Rodney. Rodney's a landscape guy that he went to high school. We all grew up at McKinney when McKinney was small, and so I knew him, and I go by his business every day. It's a huge business, landscape business. So I actually called a friend of mine that I used to work with named Elsie, because Elsie cut Rodney's hair, to get his number. During that process, Elsie was telling me she was going through some hard times, and so I'm meeting with her this Friday to show her the plan, not really thinking she was on my list. But I did call Rodney and just ask him if he would take a look, and he was very kind. And so I'm meeting with Rodney this Wednesday at 10:30 to show him the plan. He told me he was in ministry. That was his big focus now, but he said he would look at it to see if he could refer anybody to me.
Well, that is excellent. I take my hat off to you there. You did a fantastic job. You did two things. First of all, you were doing your research to get Rodney's number, but more than that, when you were researching the number through Elsie, you heard some pain from Elsie, and you obviously did a perfect reactive invite offering some help for her to take a look. And I believe that she's also going to have her dad take a look as well, correct?
Yeah, she's going to have her mom and dad, and I'm meeting with them this Friday.
So that's fantastic. So how great is that? So Elsie, mom and dad, and Rodney, all from being open to, first of all, I know Rodney was on your chicken list, and he came to the top because when you gave him the Erica score, he obviously comes to the top because he's so good. So you got someone on your chicken list plus two other opportunities to show the plan, all from one initial approach to Rodney. So very, very, very well done. That was absolutely, I couldn't have done it better myself. Good for you. That's perfect. So 3 for 1. I like that. Excellent. Good job.
Okay. My next person is Sharon. She's another old friend that I grew up with, and actually I talked to her at the end of October. She's retiring from State Farm. I'd actually sent her a magazine, and so she told me to call her back. She'd been very busy. I called her this week, but I just haven't been able to get a hold of her. She's really, really busy. But I'm not going to purge her right now because she has the magazine, and I just think with her it's a time thing, and so I'm going to try to call her after, maybe in the 1st of December, because I feel like she'll get where she has more time and I can go down and sit and talk with her.
I think with Sharon, what you're going to need, that is all going to be about posture and being intentional on setting the time. It's very easy when someone's busy, especially around the holidays, but if there's definite interest there, the way to do it is when one can say, let's get together, after the holidays. Let's get together, when's going to be a good time for you? We've got to lose that type of approach. That is not the way to do it. It's to say, look, Sharon, my business is going really, really well. I'm really busy, and I know you're really busy. So let's tie a time down when we can get together and see if this actually makes sense for you or not. And be really, intentional about setting the time. So if you're going to set the time around the December 1st time, that's perfectly okay. But be very intentional about setting that time because we want to get Sharon off your list, either as someone who's joined the business or someone who's purged and on your drip list to call back for 6 months. Because, again, remember this call is called the Purge Call. And that's because each week we want to end up with new names to show the business to. And if the same names keep coming round and round and round and round and round again, then you will not get to those new names. And sometimes a new name will come along who's dreaming of an opportunity like this, and we're not getting to them because we're stuck with those people who are messing us around. I'm not saying Sharon is messing us around, but the way to get her off your list either as a yes or purged is by being very intentional about setting the date. So, that's part of the 5 guidelines that we have when we set an invite, and that is actually about being very intentional about setting the time and date to do that. So no wishy-washy, let's get together around the 1st. No, what date, what time, where, and let's get this done. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But great job on that one. Good job. So she's still a live prospect. Good deal.
Okay. The next one is Paul Powell. He's been on my chicken list. He's a really good friend. He's a lifelong friend, and he owns one of the biggest Keller Williams real estate companies in McKinney. And I called him and invited him to take a look at the business, and I think he just basically did it because he's my friend. But another thing is one of my consultants is very, very, very connected in McKinney, but he's just never done anything because he's just super busy, and he's best friends with Paul. So Paul said he would meet with me on Wednesday. So I called my other consultant that is his best friend, and we all met together Wednesday at the restaurant where I work. And when we first started, I was talking to him, and I could tell he just kind of was being nice to me. But then when I told him it was the Thompson family, he knew who they were. And so I think at the end he said, I'm going to take a look. And so, and I asked him, it might not be for you, but, you're just so connected, and maybe you could refer us, which I, told Kelly, my other consultant, who really wants to do it. He's just so busy he can't stop, he just hasn't stopped long enough to do it. So it was a really, really, really positive thing, and it could be a great thing because he is very connected.
And this is what's very interesting is I know you will have done a good presentation of the business, but even if it had been a mediocre presentation, someone of his skill set, he owns a large Keller Williams business. He will see how good this business is, and very good for you for mentioning the Thompson family, because again, business owners are turned on by different things than people who are just trying to make some extra $100, $200 a month, and using business language, but really good about name dropping a Thompson family member being the owner of this business, and so good job. And I know with both Rodney, for those of you who are wondering how Janet got in front of Rodney and Paul, she went for the opinion approach. Again, for those of you who are new on this call, this is the second call. We usually cover this on the first week with Janet, but there are 5 things that we do in our invites. One is being in a hurry so that we can't get dragged into a presentation on the call. The second is why you're doing this business. Third is having a hook. Fourth is a takeaway. And fifth is being intentional, like I was talking about just a second ago. But I know that with Rodney and Paul, when there's a business owner who maybe one looks up to, one feels that is this isn't a status thing, but sometimes you look at people and think, oh, they're more successful than me. Sometimes it's a very good idea to ask for an opinion. Hey, Rodney, I've just started. As you know that Rick and I are approaching retirement age, and we've got to make sure that our retirement is fulfilled. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but I just wanted to let you know I've started a new project to make sure that our retirement is covered properly. But I wanted to show you the business for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted you just to know what we're doing. It makes sense, obviously, to network in any kind of business. But secondly, I would really appreciate your professional opinion. You've been very successful in business. We've been friends for a long time. I've always respected the way you've built businesses, the way people respect you in your business. And I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing because I would really appreciate your opinion. Now, we don't have to put in there a takeaway because we're not offering them the business. So we don't have to do this may or may not be your cup of tea because we're just asking for opinion. But when we've asked for the opinion, I'd really appreciate your professional opinion. What are you doing after work around 5:30? There's a Starbucks just around the corner from you. Would that be a good place and a good time to meet? See how intentional I am on the meeting. And so that's a great way to be inviting business owners. So for those of you who are on the call who are a little worried about inviting up, the temptation is always to invite down because you think people need the money. But business owners see this business. They really see it. We just need the opportunity to show it to them. And you've had the opportunity to show it to both Rodney and Paul because you asked for an opinion. Very, very good job. Whether they join or not is in the lap of the gods. We have no idea. But on this call, we're looking to get the opportunity to show the plan, and in both cases, you did it. So, Janet, good for you. That is really awesome. And I know, and we'll talk about this in a little while, that was a worry for you. One of the reasons why you wanted to be on this call was to help you with your posture on an invite. So great job on that, and we'll cover that in a second. But let's cover a couple more of the people that you spoke to.
Sheree is a girl that I met at Phoenix, and actually we struck up a conversation. Her husband, I guess, is originally from McKinney. I don't really know him, but anyway, I called her back, and she said, "Is this about this electrical thing?" And I said, "Yes." This was like Memorial Day, and she goes, "Well, call me back on Monday." And I called her, and she goes, "Well, my grandkids are there." So I've tried to call her back, but she won't pick the phone up. So basically, you gave me the 4 things to do, and I've just left her the messages. So I feel like it's just timing for her. Maybe timing is not right for her. So I'm going to maybe skip her.
Yeah, who knows what that is, but the purpose of the 4 call, what Janet's talking about there is sometimes, we talk to someone and we get the opportunity or someone bites on the bait to take the opportunity to look at the plan, and then for some reason when we're trying to call them, they'll have an excuse or not pick up the phone or whatever, and there could be good reason to that, but as often as not, it's not good reason. It's just that they don't want to talk to you because they think you're there trying to get you into the latest scam. That's their perception. Obviously, that's not the case in our opportunity, and we do everything we can to get the opportunity to show them the business, but we only do 4 calls. We'll leave 4, and I say 4 calls, 4 voice messages. First one is just a quick, "Hey, this is Richard. I've been something I need to talk to you about. Give me a call back." Second call, same day. Second call, "Hey, I left you a message earlier on. This is Richard. Can you give me a call back? There's something I need to talk to you about." Then I leave it, and I'll call the next day if they still haven't called back and say, "Hey, this is Richard. I left you a couple of calls, and you haven't called back. Now, I know it's not like you did not call me back. I'm putting a bit of guilt in there. Yes, I am, and I'm not apologizing for it. But please do give me a call. There's something I need to talk to you about." And then I leave it another day. So now we're on the 3rd day for the 4th call. If I still haven't heard a call back, I am now going to purge that person. But I'm doing it with a last message. The last message would be, "Hey, this is Richard. I've left you a few messages over the last few days. Obviously, you're out of town or something's going on because you haven't called me back, and you're usually so good, for calling me back. But I don't want to obviously chase you, and I don't want to be a nuisance. So this is my last call. Please do give me a call back when you get a chance. Thanks very much," and click. I'm done. And I've purged her. I'm not calling them anymore. And the main reason, well, there's 2 reasons. The main reason is I want her out of the way and off my list, so I've got clear time for next week. Remember, we want a clear plate at the beginning of each week. But secondly, gosh darn it, I want that power back. Me calling them 4 times, each time's taking a little bit of my power away of me constantly calling them and thinking, "Gosh, they're not answering. They take the power away, and gosh darn it, I want it back. And I want all of you guys to get that power back as well, because very often people will not enjoy their Ambit business, even to the point of leaving, because they allow other folks to take the power away from them. And that can be everything from, being very objectionable in, having a look and, having a really negative response to the business, but also in a subtle way by just not taking your calls. And so we have a 4-call principle here where if you're not getting any calls back, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and purge. And they're purged for a 3-month callback. And then because their timing, as you said, Janet, her timing's just not right now. So we're going to purge her. We'll give her a call in another 2 or 3 months, and we'll get back to her then. But more importantly than anything else, she's off your list and out the way. Okay, carry on, lovely.
Okay, the Alice Prickle is a lady that she was a real successful real estate salesman in Sherman. She is retired. She was my customer for years. Her husband was very sick, and he passed recently. So she had changed. I was going to get in touch with her. She's changed her number. So I actually took the whole week. I mean, I was, found her on Facebook, and she responded back to me yesterday. And she and I are going to go have coffee. I haven't seen her in a while, so I feel like I just need to reconnect with her and just let, kind of see what's going on with her. And then if that, when I get reconnected with her, I will show her the business.
Brilliant. Absolutely perfect. That you've dealt with that one absolutely in the right way. When you haven't been in touch with someone for a little while, I believe I have absolute faith in a two-meeting approach. Because, again, we're not in the numbers game. We're not trying to churn the numbers and get through people as quick as we can. We're out there to do this respectfully and to elevate this industry. And I believe if you haven't spoken to someone for a little while, the first thing to do is to reconnect, reestablish the relationship, not even talk about the business. Get together, have a coffee, a glass of wine, or whatever you want to do, and sit and enjoy each other's company, and just have fun. But the thing is, you are just listening for pain. Now, you may get a lot of pain mentioned to you during that first meeting, but you do not jump on it there and then, because that then makes the first meeting disingenuous and not what you intended it to be. So the first meeting, get together, have a great time, listen for pain and this type of thing. And if there is pain and if there is an opportunity, make another invite at a call later on to get back together again. For example, if I'd met with you, Janet, and we were chatting and we were having a great time, but during that conversation you were expressing some concerns about you and Rick, approaching retirement age, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'd be like, I'd immediately connect and say, yeah, I'm a similar age. I want to make sure that I'm, got enough money for blah, 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 but nothing about the business. Nothing. Even if you'd said to me, what do you do for a living? I'd say, I have, I had a couple of restaurants. I have an energy business, and I have a music business. So that's about it. That's all I'll mention. But after that meeting, at another time, I'll give you a call back and say, hey, Janet, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. But when we were talking the other day, and I don't know why I didn't think about this when we were together, you were mentioning about your concerns for retirement. Well, I mentioned to you that I had the same concerns. Well, I actually have started a new business project with a company that's doing really, really well in the DFW area, and my retirement is going to be more than adequately taken care of. And you mentioned that you had some interest, so I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. I don't know if it's going to be your thing, but it's working for me, and I wouldn't be much of a friend if I didn't share it with you. So let's get together for coffee on Friday. I know there's a Starbucks just around the corner from you, and I'll show you what I'm doing and see if it makes sense for you. That's how I would deal with it. And and then if they say what is it, you've got the fallback of you're in a hurry. Hey, listen, I don't have time right now. I've literally got to go into the conference call, pick the kids up, or whatever your reason for being in a hurry was. You're protected from dragging in, and then reiterate. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but if we can get together on Friday, I'll show you everything you need to know and see if it makes sense for you. That's how I would deal with that. And then there's a second meeting. So it's a two-meeting approach for someone like that. And this woman, I remember you telling me, is a great catch. She is definitely worth the effort, and there's a good chance that she would enjoy the business. So good for you. That was perfect. I couldn't correct you more on that. You did a great job.
Okay. Julia is the lady. Her husband works for my husband, and my husband has given him the magazine, but he said, you have to talk to my wife. And so I've been trying to connect with her. I don't really know her, but haven't gotten her connected to her. So I don't know. I don't know how to, since I don't know her. They do have the magazine, but I just, I don't know how to move that forward or put her on the drip list.
Right. Okay. No. We'll definitely not put her on the drip list. It's just a fairly direct conversation. I would say, hey, Julia, you may know me. Your husband works for my husband, and the boys have been talking about a potential business and let me just give you a little bit of background. My husband and I, my husband, that's her husband's boss, we've got, we're obviously approaching retirement age, and we have a business project that we're working alongside our job. My husband mentioned that it could be something that you guys would potentially be interested in, but this project we're working on is going to have our retirement covered completely, in fact, more than covered completely. What I wanted to do was to get an opportunity to show you the business for a couple of reasons. First one, I just would like you to know what we're doing. Again, anyone in business needs to spread the word, needs to network. But secondly, based on our husband's conversation, it may be something that you would like to do alongside what you guys are currently doing too. Again, I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, but it's working really, really well for Rick and I. So what are you doing after? I'm not sure what your hours are, but do you usually finish work about 5:30, 5:45, something like that? Maybe we can go grab a coffee. I'll show you what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you guys too. So it's a very similar invite, but it's a little bit more. Obviously, you can't talk too much about her why because you don't know her very well, but it's still following the 5-step process. Being in a hurry, you mentioned your why, you mentioned the hook, which is the fact that this is going to get your retirement covered. It may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine, but I'd love you to take a look at what we're doing and then really intentional about setting the time. And the right person will take a look. And that's all we're looking for. We're looking for the opportunity to show her the plan. She will like it or she won't, and that's perfectly fine. But if you take that approach, you have got a very high chance that she'll take a look. And again, we're not emotionally tied to whether she does or she doesn't. But as lovely as you are and as good as you are at following the instructions and doing the invites the way you've been doing, I think you've got a very high chance of her taking a look. But you're asking me how to deal with it. That's how I would deal with it, and I think you'll do fine.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Have we got any more? Let's do one more.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Pat is old Juice Plus rep of mine, and she works at the Chevrolet house. But I had called her earlier, and she had said she wasn't busy, but she would take a look, to just see if she knew any, that she could refer me. But I hadn't gotten contact with her.
How do you feel for those who are listening, Janet has another network marketing business that she's been very successful in because she's very passionate about the product. And Pat was a rep in that business as well, correct?
Yes.
Right. And so she expressed that she was not necessarily interested in another network marketing business, which is fine. But the point is, again, we don't care what someone says. We just want the opportunity to take a look. And she said she'd take a look so that she could maybe refer people to you either as customers or as potential consultants. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a good invite. My only reservation is it sounds like it's a bit wishy-washy as to whether you're going to get together or not. So my question to you is do you feel that you were intentional enough about setting the actual time to get together to show her the plan?
No, I don't think when I did, this is something kind of I've learned just with doing this. I did not.
Okay, so what I would do is it's fixable. You can fix that, and again, this surprises me that this is the area that needs the most training, and not in a bad way. I mean, it's great that this call is here to be able to teach people how to be intentional. But so often people do a fantastic invite and then are wishy-washy about setting a date. So you can fix that though, Janet, by giving her a call back and saying, look, you know how busy she is, and you're real busy right now. But last time we talked about you taking a look at this business. I know you're not interested in the business, and that's fine. So open the door and give her an absolutely nice, easy way out. But as you know, in any business, and especially if she knows network marketing, people knowing about what I do is really important. So let's get together so I can show you what we're doing here, and so that you'll be able to refer me. Now, I'm not sure what your week looks like, but usually after 5:30 is good for me. And I know there's a Starbucks around the corner, or there's actually that hotel as well nearby. Is that going to be a good place for you? And what time is going to be good for you? Because I get out about 5:30, and I'm really focusing on that time and really posturing on that time and location. And if you do that, she will be drawn towards that and make that time with you. So you can fix it. You can go back and say, hey, listen, I want to follow up with what we were talking about last time, and then go through what I was just explaining. So you can fix it, but you're going to have to, have a coffee or something and muster up a little bit of mojo and posture a little bit with her, and you'll do it. And the thing is, she'll take a look, and you never know. She actually may go, you know what? This is really awesome. The fact it's electricity and not a product, I think I might be interested, and you never know. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense, and that would be that I'm learning just a little bit more.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's not go through any more. We've got a few minutes left now, and so what I'd be really interested for those, because we've got a lot of new people on the call right now who are kind of listening to the call and kind of learning about what's going on the call. I'd love to know what you feel about how this week has been, because I've been pretty direct with you, and I've been a true accountability partner. If for whatever reason we haven't managed to call, I've been there and been the right accountability partner, holding you accountable. Always very nice and very kind, of course, because I'm a lovely chap. But I truly am an accountability partner. How's your week been? Have you felt under pressure, or has it been a good experience, a scary experience? Have you learned anything? What do you feel better about the business? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely stretched me. And when I decided to do it, I committed that I had to make the 2 calls a day. But what I've learned is, I'm very excited because I have 3 times that I'm going to show the business that that's a success rate up for me. But what I really learned, another thing, is because I didn't have what I was going to say written down before I started the week. I did kind of good at the first of the week. So at the end of the week, when things got super busy, I didn't have time to sit and write down what I was going to talk to, which is kind of my struggle. And so the end of the week didn't do quite as well because I wasn't prepared before I started. So it's been a huge learning curve. I feel very good about it, and I feel like I've learned a lot. And so I'm very excited to try to keep incorporating and doing this and learning more and getting better.
Well, one of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the week was your posture, and it's very sweet of you to be so vulnerable at the beginning of the week and talking about your posture. And I said the one thing that I want to try and do this week is to help you improve your posture and confidence in how you invite. So have we achieved that goal? And what do you think if we have? Is it the writing it down? Is it the posture? What has helped you? First of all, have we helped you? And what do you think has helped?
It has helped me, and having it written down, because like I said, I am a talker, so I just get nervous and say more. So writing it down has helped me tremendously, and it's just the more you do, the better you get. And then, and also what I've done at the end of the week, I just started thinking about all these people that I've met in Ambit, that what has done for their life. I mean, just true. And so what I've done now when I make the calls is I set up straight, and I just in my heart know that I'm going to invite somebody that it's going to truly help. So that's helping me with my posture. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there because writing it down is helping. Doing more calls that you do, and the better you get at it. And then having the accountability call at night where I can learn what I did wrong and what I can do better. So the whole system has helped me just doing what I do better. And I still have to work on my posture because I'm not there yet, but I'm better.
Yeah, you absolutely are so much better. I mean, the fact that you have those 2 business owners both willing to take a look and help you with your business, and who knows, it maybe even join the business. I personally feel, but that's why I asked you. It seems like, from what I'm hearing, is your posture has got so much better, And so, hopefully that has been a good experience for you this week. But what I'm going to say to you now, though, is, of course, our week is over, and, it'll be a new week next week. So what you need to do is to make sure you get an accountability partner who's going to truly hold you accountable, who is accountable to you and you're accountable to them, so you can build your businesses together. Do you have someone in mind as your accountability partner?
I do have someone in mind, but I haven't contacted him yet because I don't have his phone number. So I'm going to. That's
super, super important, because if you don't have someone waiting for you in that evening, it's so easy not to make those 2 calls. And those 2 calls a day are what are going to build your business. The difference between you having a successful Ambit business that's making you, thousands of dollars in residual income a month or not is because you're asking people to take a look at the business. And if you have this nice, simple 30 to 60 minute structure each day that you do, and you do because you have an accountability partner waiting for you, I promise you'll get there. I guarantee it. Even if your inviting is not good, you will find people will look, some will join, some won't. The better you get at the business, the better you get at inviting, so you'll have a higher conversion rate. But we don't need a hugely high conversion rate because we only need to find 3. We only need to find 3. Well, Janet, I appreciate you being with me this week. We've had a lot of difficulty sometimes getting together time-wise. I know you've been super busy. I've had a busy week this week, but I thank you so much for getting on the call, and more than anything, thank you so much for being so vulnerable. You're such a sweetheart, and allowing us, everyone on the call, to hear the challenges you've had and how you've got through them. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for allowing me to be the victim.
It's funny thanking someone to allowing you to be a victim. That's very, very amusing. All right, well, I want to grab the last few minutes just to kind of help folks for the Thanksgiving week. But, Janet, I'm going to say good night to you and thank you very much. And then, guys, everybody else, stay on the call just for a couple of minutes. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving week this week, and, we don't stop working. But there's going to be a lot of times when you're now together with family and friends, and you're going to have lots and lots of conversations over turkey and wine and all the things that we do over Thanksgiving. And this is a time to really use what God gave us more than everything else. He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. This is an opportunity for the next week to really listen to those around you. You're going to be surrounded by a lot of people who you maybe haven't seen for a little while, and you're going to hear all sorts of stories. Someone's been successful, someone's got married, someone's been on vacation, someone hates their job, someone needs to make more money, someone's this, someone's that. Your job this week is to be listening. And now here's the warning. It's going to be tempting, especially for those of you who are brand new in the business. Do not be tempted to jump all over people when you hear what you think is a great opportunity to show someone the business. Be patient. This business is all about patience. It's about doing the business right, and we're trying to elevate this business and not be one of those network marketers who's out there trying to grab everyone and trying to get them to join the latest Kool-Aid operation here or there, wherever. So what we do is we take our time, we make a note of all of the conversations that we've had, and after the holidays, it's perfectly appropriate to call someone back and say, hey, Julie, it was great seeing you last week. I mean, it's been years since we got together. It was so lovely to see you again. Listen, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but you mentioned when we were together you got your kids going to college and you're a bit worried about how you're going to get the college funds paid for. Well, I've got exactly the same issues with Sam and Max, both going into college right now. And I've got a project that I'm working on right now that's going to get both of their college funds paid for. And I'd love to show you what I'm doing. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But what are you doing after work at 5:30 or so where I can show you what we're doing? Really simple, and that's after the holidays. So this holidays, have your ears open, be listening, take notes. And after the holidays, you're going to have the opportunity to give them a call back and do the perfect invite. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We've got a couple of minutes before we go, so what I want to do is to let you know there's another call after this call. It's our national call that's actually held by Brian McClure, but he has a guest on this week. A gentleman is a national consultant, one of the best speakers I've ever heard. His name is he's national consultant Mike Obey. He, before his Ambit business, owned 13 businesses and was very, 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 very busy, and now is a millionaire national consultant in an Ambit business. Again, so a busy business owner. So guys, don't be afraid to talk to business owners. But the number to get on that call is 712-432-7570. Again, 712-432-7570, and the PIN number is 84877#. Again, 84877#. Okay, guys. All right. So if you want all the information on these purge calls, if you want to listen to previous recordings, get on the EC Riders Facebook page. Everything is there and recorded for you. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Thank you for getting on the call. Have a great week. Open the calendars. Make sure you get everything planned out for the week, and you'll have a good week. And I'll see you all next Sunday. Have a great Sunday, guys. And again, happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye now.